a hater on all 4 AFC teams. I just am going to be a hater on the Jets.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Well, let's hold the Jets for a second. Because I have them. I think the Jets are going to be the most interesting here in this, because I think we're going to be on opposite sides with the Jets here. The Bills, though, you got the helmet right behind you, Jarrett. The case for the Bills winning the Super Bowl, not making the Super Bowl. A lot of weird stuff with Stephon Diggs this offseason. Josh Allen out here dating actors. Like, we've got a different kind of system, obviously, with Ken Dorsey versus what Brian Daboll did. A little bit rocky last year. We'll see if they're able to bounce back in the sense of, like, hey, yeah, they still won the playoffs, they still won the division, but, like, they took a step back, and Josh Allen took a step back last year. Still top 5, top 10-ish quarterback, somewhere in that range.
I'd say top 2.
He's top 2. He's top 2.
No, over who? Joe Burrow? Joseph Burrow? No, Joseph Burrow. No one's taking Josh Allen over Joseph Burrow. No. We can't do that. Joe Burrow has surpassed him.
I used to be a Joe Burrow over Josh Allen, but
wait, you think you? I mean, listen, no,
look,
like
Josh.
No question.
Josh Allen is the only quarterback outside of Patrick Mahomes that can go absolutely supernova and win a game by himself, like Patrick Mahomes.
But that's the whole thing. You want the one of the two to be the supernova type, and the other to just be like the Brady, Joe Montana type, and that's Joe Burrow. Like, he's the alternate. Yeah,
that's fine.
Joe Burrow's more efficient. Josh Allen is more talented and the better quarterback.
Ooh, yeah.
It's just
Josh Allen's way more exciting.
It's just the thing with Josh Allen, and I guess
this is hurting my feelings.
My thing with the Bills. Actually, I'll let Jarrett go before I get to my my little hating segment on the Bills, I guess.
I cannot believe he's going negative on all the AFC East teams. One of the best divisions in football. He's out on everybody. Jarrett, go.
Yeah, no. I'm an honorary member of Bills Mafia. Mm-hmm. So I think what doesn't get talked about enough is just everything that the Bills went through last season. And that's not an excuse for how poorly they played against Cincinnati at home, nonetheless. But they didn't have Micah Hyde. They lost Jordan Poyer for a good portion of the season where he was in and out of the lineup. They lose Von Miller. Tre'Davious White wasn't healthy until Thanksgiving. Like, roster-wise, when they're healthy, you look at all the talent they have on that side of the ball, all of their best players missed some time, and they were never healthy all at the same time. They bring in Leonard Floyd as well to shore up this pass rush that desperately needs something outside of Von Miller, because we've seen, Greg Rousseau, he's a guy. At Oliver, he's an above-average guy, but that they've drafted defensive front very heavy the past few seasons, and none of them have really panned out to be anything special. And then offensively, what's Ken Dorsey going to do to rebound from last season? Because you talk about playing in Freebird mode. The Bills played with like balls to the wall playing at all times last season. It was all or nothing. Like, the quintessential example of that is against Minnesota, and that game that shouldn't have been in overtime to begin with, where they're marching down the field, and Josh Allen has a dump off to Devin Singletary out of the backfield just to get a few yards, and he throws it into like quintuple coverage, and it's intercepted to end the game. Like, there's no take the layup, play for another day. And I think that that's something that he needs to get back to doing. He was much better at doing when Brian Daboll was there. He needs to just, this isn't all or nothing. We don't have to throw. We don't have to do a Hail Mary on 2nd and 2 in the first quarter. We can take the layups. And if everybody stays healthy, I think they still have, arguably the best safety tandem in football with Hyde and Poyer, Tre'Davious White. Hopefully Kyer Elam takes a step forward as well. They got guys. Matt Milano, outside of Fred Warner, is the best inside linebacker in football. Offensive line got a little bit better. I'm sorry, JP, what?
That Matt Milano being the second best inside linebacker. I think he's third, but I respect it.
It's like, Jesus, I'm sorry, JP.
We're not going to disrespect Roquan Smith, but I definitely see where you're going with the Bills. I think the reason for saying like the Bills win the Super Bowl is they have the quarterback, and if you have the quarterback, you can go really far.
If you got 17, you got 15, you got 9, you got a shot, and they've got one of those guys.
Why did it feel like their season ended when Von Miller got hurt last year?
Because it did.
Because defensively, this is my biggest question for the Buffalo Bills. Is this defense built to win a Super Bowl? And
Sean McDermott's calling the plays this year too. Leslie Frazier gone, so we're going to find out.
how much different is what Sean McDermott has done as a play caller than
Yeah.
what Leslie Frazier has done? Sean McDermott is a defensive coach. He was probably in those meetings helping form to be what that defense was. That defense, one, lacked pass rush. Of course, losing Von Miller hurts. But going from, if you're one 33-year-old Von Miller away from being a non-factor in pass rush department, that's probably a problem. I think Leonard Floyd's going to help out, but they need AJ Epineza and Boogie Basham to actually live up to the first and second round picks that they use on them consecutively.
I mean, hey, there's a Washington Commanders pass rusher who is available via trade reportedly. Buffalo Bills trade for Chase Young. I think that would be a very smart move for Brandon Beane.
I just wonder, how is this defense like built to succeed? I think schematically they are very much a let the offense come to you. We will suffocate you and only force you to take the short throws. But when it gets down into the playoffs, it's very much sounding like, can they do it in a cold, rainy night in Stoke? They kind of got blown off the ball in the run game by the Cincinnati offensive line, which up until
the Cincinnati offensive line playing some backups as well. Like they got manhandled.
They were banged up and they got manhandled. So I just wonder, one, is this defense actually going to show up? You know, is this going to be a team where they're always going to be one of the best teams in the regular season and the defense just falls apart in the playoffs? Because that's how they are built. They are built to take away explosives, which is great, but they're going to allow you to dink and dunk. And if you allow them to play dink and dunk, there are teams that can beat you playing dink and dunk. The Chiefs are a great example of that. That's the team they're going to be competing with. My next question is, how much of the offense is like, I don't want to blame Ken Dorsey for all of it because I think what he did with the offense actually was pretty good. I just wonder if the hell or high water, high variance of the offense, that's a part of the Josh Allen feature. That's
high variance.
That's a part of the video game. That's a part of what you get with Josh Allen. All the crazy throws you're gonna get. I'm not gonna throw this check down because I think I can make this throw, and you're just gonna have to live with it. I think the big question is Dalton Kincaid going to be the legit number 2 that they need? They needed someone who can create any separation outside of Stephon Diggs and be a reliable target, because you need someone outside of him to catch passes. Gabe Davis is far too inconsistent, and behind him, I think Khalil Shakir is fun, but I don't think he's like moving a needle. You need Dalton Kincaid to be kind of that intermediate guy. You need him to be someone who can create separation and create mismatches. They're going to run a lot of 12 personnel this year. I think that is where the NFL is going to go. 12
personnel is back, baby.
12 and 21 personnel. Offense is getting bigger. Defense is getting bigger. We are moving back to 2000.
Arthur Smith, just an innovator all across the board.
Sure, I'll give you that. I think Arthur Smith is great. But I wonder what this defense is going to look like, and is this defense reached its limit?
That's
all fair questions.
Evan.
To put my final touches on it, can they win the Super Bowl? Yes.
There you go. JP, can they win the Super Bowl?
Yes.
I think I say yes too. Evan, do you think the Bills can win the Super Bowl this year?
Yeah, I mean they've been so consistently good and done a lot of things the right way. And even when they slipped up last year a little bit, they really, they're a dominant team. They're one of those teams where you're like, every year they're like they could have won the Super Bowl. They should have won the Super Bowl. So I'm not going to take them out of that conversation. But there's just the top heavy teams right now are so, like, I don't know if it's every year in the NFL and it just seems like a moment right now, but like the teams that you put on a list right now that you could think rationally could win a Super Bowl is pretty impressive. And it's really hard to pick one. And I will say this, it's hard to say this against the Chiefs, but like no team that I think could make it to the Super Bowl is perfect by any means. Sure. Like I think they, even the Chiefs, you could go, well, this is how they would lose if they lost, right? Like, and I think that's the same point with the Bills, right? Like they get close, but it's just tough to win a Super Bowl, let alone get there, let alone win your division. And they're not prone to making mistakes, but they're definitely a damn good team.
I like it. The Jets, Evan. Aaron Rodgers enters the fold. Talent all across the board. Maybe a reach in the first round, depending on who you ask. With the Iowa State kid, the edge, and Jarrett putting his fingers up for that one.
I'm so directionally challenged right now. It's not even funny.
There it is. I was like, I didn't know he was doing the Brian Windhorst meme. I couldn't tell what he. Yeah. But the Jets, I think, are maybe going to be the toughest team of the four to forecast, and whether or not they can win the Super Bowl in the case for and against. But I land yes, they can win the Super Bowl this year, and it's crazy because they just need to make the playoffs because I think they have the longest playoff drought, right, in the NFL. Is it?
They haven't made it since 2010, 2011.
That's the longest, right? I feel like
it's the longest.
Yeah, and I just wonder how high of a floor Aaron Rodgers immediately puts this team at with an elite defense, with a pretty solid receiving core, with a healthy Mekhi Becton, with a healthy